I'm Jordan, and the lesson plan that I'm going to be presenting is on Five Little Snowmen. It's a really great song for right around kindergarten age, so like 5 or 6. And it's specifically going to be helping working on counting and counting backwards, which is really important at this age. And then it's kind of fun because then you're using a song to teach a math concept, which is kind of inherently thought to be boring. And when kids are bored, they're just not interested. They're not going to learn as well as they could if they're engaged. So by integrating music into this math lesson plan, it's going to better engage the students and kind of make it more fun. Fun to the point where they might even not realize that they're learning math concepts. So there's a couple different benchmarks that are really important to this lesson plan. You need to hit both a math and music benchmark to really get the most out of an integrated lesson. So for math, our strand is going to be numbers and operations. The substrand is going to be counting. The standard is going to be understanding that relationship between quantities and whole numbers. This is something that's really important to kind of get kids to understand. You can't really understand how to add and subtract, multiply, divide, anything like that if you don't understand the relationship between 1 plus 2 is 3, 4 plus 3 is 7, things like that. And then the official benchmark for math that I would be hitting with this lesson plan is counting with or without objects, forwards and backwards, up to at least 20. What's really great about this lesson is you can make finger puppets to go along with the 5 little snowmen in it for each of your children's fingers. Then as the song goes on and you lose snowmen that melt in the sun, you can put down a finger with the little snowman puppet on it, and they can actually see the quantity changing, which is really important to begin to understand that relationship between numbers. And then for music, our strand is going to be the artistic process, so performing or presenting. The standard is perform or present a variety of contexts in the arts areas using artistic foundations. And then that benchmark is going to be sing and play a variety of repertoire that includes simple rhythms and melodies. So to hit this benchmark, you'd really just have your students practice for you. You can evaluate your students one-on-one, different things like that to see if they can sing and perform the song. So right here we have a song map. Song maps are really great for kind of going through that, just the step-by-step approach, going through the melody and lyrics line by line until they fully understand each section. So it would just go along with each of the pictures as well. This really helps, especially for general understanding of the lyrics, but specifically for ELL students or students that don't know English as their first language. Having the pictures go along with the lyrics kind of helps with a secondary level of understanding. Beyond that, if you're working with kindergartners, as this lesson plan is kind of built for, they can't always all read right away, especially not in kindergarten. That's going to be something that you would be working with your students on. So having the pictures as a reference is going to mean a lot more to them than having the lyrics. So to go through this song, it would be really simple. Just 5 little snowmen standing in a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so fine. Melt in the sunshine with a sigh. We'll see you next year. Bye bye. And then you just repeat this again with numbers 4 through 0 until you don't have any left. So one thing that you can also use to kind of teach about music with this song is melody. So what is melody? Kind of explaining that to very young children can be kind of hard. So melody is really just like the sequence of highs and lows within a song. We can hear melodies when we sing different pitches, such as in the song 5 Little Snowmen. And one way that could really help these students understand would be to kind of play a game with it. You can have them crouch down every time they hear a low note, jump up every time the music gets high, things like that. Here we have the link to the YouTube video It's a really great video. Not only does it have lyrics, but it has the little snowmen kind of going through on the screen, so that's kind of fun for the kids. Accommodations are going to be really important to any lesson plan, but especially when you're kind of integrating things, you want to make sure you can think of everything that could come up. So for ELL student accommodations, these are going to be students who do not speak English as their first language. It's important to spend that extra time with the students, making sure that they're pronouncing all the words correctly. And then while working with these students, you can also have visual aids such as the snowman or the sun, to kind of make sure that the student has a full understanding of the meaning of the words, not just how to say the word. Hearing impaired student accommodations are going to include things such as seating them closer to the speaker or you, so they can better hear the lesson plan and instructions, and just kind of the song. And then you can also project lyrics on the board for the students to read, or give a student a personal set of lyrics, kind of just to make sure that they can use one of their bigger assets, which is going to be vision, since they can't hear. So you want to make sure you can accommodate to that. So having a personal set of lyrics is going to help a lot. On the flip side of that, for having visually impaired students, you want to make sure they're sat kind of front and center, right near you, and has a clear path to see the board. You could do a PowerPoint to go along with the songs, kind of picturing actions or different things that you want to do with the song, as well as printing a personal set of lyrics in a bold font for the students to see better. But again, if you're working with kindergartners, you kind of got to feel out the students' reading ability. And then finally, for learning disabled accommodations, one way to help the students would be to participate with a partner. So whether or not they have a para or another student in the classroom that they're really close with that they'd like to work with, to kind of model lyrics or actions or anything else that you're going along with the song. Another way, especially when it comes to assessment, is going to be having everything assessed separately. So practice the song, then teach counting. See if they can perform the song, then see if they can do the counting, things like that. This is an example of a math assessment. So as you can see here, I did visuals as well as the written number equation, just so they can kind of see that quantity and see how it transfers over when you're adding or taking away from a group of snowmen. And then for music assessment, I broke it into 3 categories as well as 3 performances. That way they can work with a song up to 3 times. 3 times is kind of the set number for how much you can use a song until it's no longer adding to the lesson. It's just kind of becoming just humdrum. They expect it. They aren't going to take anything away from it, so don't do it more than that. But you would want to evaluate if they can sing the lyrics correctly, if they can perform actions, if you do add actions into the song, and then if they can do both simultaneously. And you are going to want to evaluate this more than once, obviously, so you can make sure that they're comfortable with the song, that's not just they're nervous or different things like that. Marking a 0 in a category would mean they were unable to meet the standard. Marking a 1 would mean they met it, and then a 3 would mean that they exceeded the standard in some way. And thanks for counting.